Most people will spend the next 30 days exactly the same as the last 30. Same phone habits, same morning fog, same low-grade exhaustion they've stopped questioning. Not because they're lazy, because they're doing it wrong. The human brain doesn't respond to motivation, it responds to repetition. And there are 5 specific behaviors, each one confirmed by psychological research, that, when stacked together, rewire how you think, how you feel, and what you're capable of. Not in a year, in 30 days. This is not a list of life hacks, this is a protocol. Before we begin, understand this. Marcus Aurelius was one of the most powerful men in the ancient world. He commanded armies, he ruled an empire, and every single morning, before he addressed any of it, he sat alone with his thoughts and wrote in a journal. Not because he had time, because he understood that a mind that hasn't been prepared is a mind that will be controlled by circumstance, by impulse, by other people's urgency. These 5 habits are built on that same principle. Prepare the mind, then meet the world. Habit 1. Morning silence. The first 20 minutes of your morning belong to nothing. No phone, no music, no podcast, no news. Just stillness. Most people begin their day by handing their attention to someone else. A notification, a headline, a feed curated by an algorithm designed to spike cortisol. The difference between anxiety and readiness is often just the input you allow. The Stoics called this the morning meditation. Morning silence is the daily act of claiming control before the world takes it. Set your alarm 20 minutes earlier. Do not touch your phone until those 20 minutes have passed. Let the mind settle, the way sediment settles in still water.
Habit 2. Single tasking. One task, 1 hour. No switching. Multitasking is not a skill. It is a myth the productivity culture sold you, and it has been costing you more than you know. In 2009, a research team at Stanford led by Clifford Noss found that people who constantly juggled multiple streams of information were worse at filtering out irrelevance, worse at organizing thoughts, and worse at switching between tasks than people who focused on one thing at a time. The brain pays a switching cost every time attention moves, and those costs compound across a day until thinking feels thick, slow, and exhausting. Seneca wrote, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." He wrote that 2,000 years ago. Neuroscience is still catching up. Single tasking is about working with depth. When the mind is fully committed to one thing, it enters what psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi called flow, a state of frictionless focus where performance peaks and time collapses. You can access it every single day. Identify your one most important task. Block 1 hour. Phone face down. Notifications silenced. Begin. Habit 3. Journaling with intention. Write 3 things every evening: what drained you, what moved you forward, and what you want to carry into tomorrow. Psychologist James Pennebaker at the University of Texas found that structured, intentional writing produced measurable improvements in immune function, reduced symptoms of depression, and improved working memory. Writing doesn't just record experience, it processes it. The act of putting words to an event forces the prefrontal cortex to impose narrative structure on raw emotion. The thing that keeps you up at 2 a.m. loses power when you've written it down and examined it. Marcus Aurelius did this every night. Meditations wasn't written for publication. It was a private journal, a nightly reckoning. He wasn't performing, he was calibrating. Each evening, write 3 sentences. 1 thing that drained your energy, 1 thing you did well, and 1 intention for tomorrow. After 30 days, read back through it. It's not a diary, it's a map of how your mind works.
Habit 4. Saying no more often. Once per day, decline something that doesn't align with your priorities. Here is what no one tells you about the word yes. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't matter, you say no to something that does. Your time is not a renewable resource. Attention is finite, and most people have unknowingly filled their capacity with obligations they accepted out of guilt, social pressure, or the vague fear of missing out. Psychologist Roy Baumeister's research on ego depletion demonstrated that decision-making draws on a shared mental resource, and when that resource is depleted by small, frequent obligations, the capacity to make good decisions on the things that actually matter collapses. This is why great performers often have almost boring routines. They are protecting bandwidth. Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day. Not because he lacked taste, because choosing clothing consumed the same cognitive fuel as a large decision. Epictetus was unequivocal. It is not the things that disturb us, but our judgments about things. Before saying yes to any new request, pause and ask, does this bring me closer to or further from what I'm building? If the answer is further, say no, politely, directly, without over-explaining. Practice this once a day. It becomes a reflex. Habit 5. Physical movement and cold exposure. 20 minutes of deliberate movement daily, followed by 60 seconds of cold water. The body is not a vehicle for the brain. It is part of it. A 2021 meta-analysis in the British Journal of Sports Medicine reviewed 97 studies and found that regular exercise reduced symptoms of anxiety and depression significantly more than medication alone. Movement triggers BDNF, sometimes called miracle grow for the brain. It makes learning faster and emotional regulation easier.
Dr. Susanna Soberg at the University of Copenhagen found that deliberate cold exposure increases norepinephrine up to 300%, producing heightened focus, elevated mood, and sharpened alertness. More importantly, cold teaches you something no seminar can, that you can do hard things on purpose. That is the foundation of self-discipline. The Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort as training. Seneca wrote about eating simple food, wearing thin clothes in winter, not as punishment, but as proof to himself that he was not controlled by comfort. Cold water is the modern equivalent. End your shower cold, not gradually. Turn it to cold, get in, stay for 60 seconds, breathe through it. That 60 seconds of controlled discomfort will recalibrate your nervous system for the hours that follow. 5 habits, 30 days. That is the offer. The reason most people don't do these things is not ignorance. It is that they're waiting to feel ready. You will never feel ready. The brain does not generate motivation before action. It generates motivation through action. The feeling of being a disciplined, focused, grounded person does not precede the habits. It emerges from them. Start tonight. Write 3 sentences in a notebook. Tomorrow morning, sit in silence for 20 minutes before you touch your phone. Tomorrow evening, end your shower with 60 seconds of cold. That is not a dramatic transformation. That is a direction. And direction, sustained over 30 days, becomes identity. If this landed with you, subscribe. The work we do here is consistent, research-backed, and designed for people who are serious about how they live. Drop a comment. Which of these 5 habits is the one you've been avoiding the most? That answer will tell you more about yourself than you might expect. See you in the next one.